Yeah. Okay, so there is no break yet. The break will come in half an hour or 20 minutes. So we continue the program. The next on the stage is, as I think Thomas said earlier on, IoT Black Belt expert. So Larry, Microsoft, thanks for coming. And yeah, the floor is yours.
Gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. My name is Larry Cheve. I'm based out of Munich, Germany, and I'm driving IoT here in Central Eastern Europe as a global black belt. Thanks, Thomas, for introducing me already. What is a global black belt? Global black belt is something Microsoft installs as a kind of business development overlay whenever they launch new complex solutions. And this is something pretty new for Microsoft. They have Azure platform and some Azure services in place for a long time now, but Azure IoT Suite was launched in late September last year. I'm 6 years now in IoT space. I was heading the EMEA organizations for companies like Exida and PTC ThingWorks, and I was driving several hundred opportunities in IoT in different industries. Before I want to be very specific in detail what factors can impact an IoT strategy, I want to show you some slides that IoT is nothing which will come around the corner someday. It's already here. And this is a picture from Vatican in Rome, which was an event around the Pope and in the year 2008. Nothing special, but you see the difference 8 years later, similar event. And these are not only picture-taking machines. I would say most of them are connected with the internet and sending data to the cloud, communicating via WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, or sending emails. Do you know what this is? Any idea? These are the major shipping routes around the world. And this is one of the reasons for IoT. People want to know, where is my damn thing? Or what if my thing could tell me if it's going to regions where they shouldn't be? Or what if my things could tell me that they will go to break before they do? These are questions to ask around IoT. Do you know what this is? This is internet usage around the world and around the clock. And let's have a deeper look at it. So the classical ways to communicate in the internet, like PCs, smartphones were a topic in the early 2000s, and tablet PCs, this is somehow going to be flat. And the interesting move, the increase is coming from Internet of Things mainly. And we are already in the middle of this increase. And let's have a deeper look in the mobile connectivity, so connected with SIM cards. We're also at a point where more machines are connected with the internet using SIM cards than people in their laptops and smartphones probably. And the increase also coming from M2M, or today called IoT. Where are these SIM cards in IoT? Of course, it doesn't make sense to connect a car with a cable in the telematics, so most cars are connected with SIM cards in it. A lot of modern car manufacturers already connected their cars. On the way to this event, I heard in the radio that Mercedes-Benz will connect their new B-Class and sending signals every 2 minutes about location data, tire pressure, and so on. And the driver even doesn't know about it or doesn't have a chance to switch it off. And I also had opportunities to work with mobile connectivity in the area of home heating systems, home air condition, home appliances. I think that makes sense. As for a manufacturer, people buy their laundry washing machine in a supermarket, electronic market, but they are not able to connect with their home internet typically. So having a SIM card in it, having connectivity out of the box, that makes sense. To have access to install new firmware, do some settings, remote repair, I will come to that later. If we ask Google Trends for IoT Cloud, that also shows a trend, what really matches with my experience over the last 6 years. So until about 2 years ago, companies tried and errored, installed the server, connected some devices, server had performance problems, and the companies wanted to connect even more. And there was no components out of the box. This is done today. Everything is available. Everything is feasible. Technology is there to connect with things, with plants, with machines, and also to easily integrate in business intelligence systems or to create applications rapidly. And this is where the value is coming from. The value is not coming from just connecting things with the internet. The value is coming from the application, having a dashboard, or to integrate in BI systems. Yeah, most of this is coming, by the way, from India and US. Europe seems to be a little bit behind maybe, but this is what we are working on. Yeah, another trend you mentioned, you just asked the question whether the 25 billion connected devices are a possibility. I would say yes. I already had opportunities years ago with connecting several million cars alone in Turkey. I was working on complex opportunities with home appliances with 2 leading European manufacturers, and both were talking about 3-digit million connected things into the year 2025. So they're huge numbers, so I believe in that. Yes, in the B2C sector, software is coming. If you imagine a washing machine 20 years ago, that was pure mechanics, maybe a little bit electronics. Today, that's a lot of electronics, and a small computer is in every coffee machine, in every washing machine, in every fridge at home. And this is an important factor to do IoT. This is a prerequisite somehow. And maybe you know some of these use cases, and everything will be connected, and the customers, we, are not even recognizing this really. Also in the B2B sector, you know most of these use cases, fleet management, that's very common already. BrainLab, these are very expensive, very high-end MRT, X-ray machines. Maybe a hospital cannot even afford to pay for it. There might be some investors paying for the machine, and the doctor in the area might use it, and they have a key card or a code, and being charged by usage of the machines. In former times, someone would have to write down, I treated 2 patients, 90 minutes, and someone would have to read it, send a fax to an invoicing organization. This is done automatically today, pay-per-use. I also know personally very well the Heidelberg high-res system. It's in place for, I think, 15 years already. They do remote services for a long time for their high-end printing machines. And Rolls-Royce is a Microsoft customer. I have a video, I just got it tonight, and I changed my presentation this morning to include it, as I really like it. And they are not doing only remote diagnose, they are also doing charging, what they call power by the hour, charging for a working engine. Now I want to show you the 1.5 minutes video. You have sound? Sorry. I will fix it. Connect me if I'm wrong. Another try. Can you do the sound? Okay. Oops. Okay. I have to skip these slides. Are you doing it? Okay. They took control, that was not me. By the way, in the meantime, I can use the time and also catch up what you said. Talking about 300 platforms, I somehow disagree. Somehow agree, as there are millions of platforms. There might be hardware manufacturers just doing some fixed IP or VPN connections. And there are the GoToMeetings, VNCs, team viewers of the world just doing some screen sharing, file exchange. And there might be some platforms where you can just do some SIM management, SIM provisioning. But if you're talking about IoT middleware platforms, a powerful thing to connect with things, with devices, with machines, with plants, with cars, with databases, and easily to create rapidly applications out of the box from the solution and integrate in BI systems. It's working now? Okay. Thank you. There are maybe a handful of really powerful solutions. I see you agree with that. Thank you. I just wanted to use the time to elaborate a bit on that. Okay, here's the video. Thank you.
As an airline pilot, I know that to fly with the best, you need to work with the best. With over 13,000 engines in operation around the globe, Rolls-Royce provides the services to maintain them at peak performance. Today, each engine has thousands of sensors that can produce terabytes of data on long-haul flights. Making sense of all that data is critical in transporting my passengers safely and efficiently. Rolls-Royce uses Azure IoT Suite to analyze data remotely and deliver real-time, actionable insights to me and to the airlines about engine performance and operational efficiencies. Advanced analytics help us optimize fuel economy, anticipate maintenance needs, and avoid costly downtime and delays. A single unscheduled disruption and its knock-on effect to a fleet and the passengers can cost an airline up to $1 million a day. With early notice, our team can proactively have parts at the right place and time, reducing inventory costs and maximizing availability. Up to 1/3 of a plane's weight is fuel. As a pilot, I decide how much fuel my plane carries. Insights into engine efficiency, weather conditions, flight path, and scheduled landings impact my decision. Cortana Intelligence helps me choose the optimal fuel level to maximize efficiency. With 40% of our operating budget devoted to fuel, even a small percentage reduction can save us tens of millions of dollars each year. Microsoft and Rolls-Royce, reaching new heights in customer value.
That was a little bit advertising in my presentation. Thank you. Do you like the video? Thank you. Yes, and we have an outlook in let's say, the year 2020. That's in 4 years. I would not say that everything will be connected with everything, but there are a lot of use cases, a lot of new use cases, and there will be for sure a lot of connected devices, a lot more than today. And some of these scenarios are already known today. Like if you have some smart parking here, even this hotel is thinking about the solution together with DoNavNet and vehicle diagnosis just for mentioning some examples. Yeah, and the co-founder of Netscape said, software is eating your world. So software is getting more and more important in fact. And also software, IoT is changing not only the way customers interact with products, IoT can probably also change whole companies. And I experience companies really moving their business models from, as you already mentioned also, from machine manufacturers, for example, to service providers. And this is an example from German Manager magazine from last month, where they reported about Uber. You know, Uber providing cars like taxis with an own organization behind it. And they asked Mercedes-Benz to buy 100,000 S-Class models, so the top model of Mercedes-Benz, if Mercedes-Benz can somehow grant that they will drive autonomously in the year 2020. So this puts Uber in an excellent position. So this changes business models, that changes positions in the market. Uber is really tier 1 here, and Mercedes-Benz probably pushed to tier 2 positions. And this forces companies to offer some solutions, and some companies might struggle or at least enter and end up in cost problems. What is the IoT? I love most the wording network of networks. That was, in former times, they called it M2M, so that was machine-to-machine communication, machine-to-people, or even people-to-people. And that's to get more insight and to speed up processes. That's about getting more insight in the data coming from connecting the things. And for some marketing and experts and for some engineers, big data is even the biggest part and the most important part of IoT, as they get insights they would probably not get without IoT. How mature is IoT? So we can use the Gartner hype cycle here, everyone knows it, also somehow called the peak of overblown expectations, but sometimes it really gives some interesting insights. And if your technology is on the peak of this hype cycle, you recognize in the market there are a lot of investments, a lot of merger and acquisition activities, and a lot of startup companies. And this is what we recognize these days. Google is buying companies like Nest. PTC is buying IoT platforms like Exida and ThingWorks to move from CAD, PLM company, to an IoT platform provider. Apple is bringing technologies like iBeacon on the market or CarPlay, and Microsoft is entering open source alliances. Sometimes technologies even completely disappear, like the 3D worlds in Second Life. But for IoT, the expectations are huge. Here the prediction for the year 2020 is the total market volume will be 5 times as it's today, and the number of connected devices, smart connected products, will be even 15 times. Yeah, where's the value coming from was a question in the panel discussion before. And I will go to that also deeper, but typically it can start easily and rapidly in the service organization. There are a lot of things where you can increase revenues, selling additional SLAs, offering 24 services, platinum services, what you couldn't do before maybe, or also capabilities to save money. I know customers, and this is typically an average number from my perspective, nearly independent of industry, that customers say, we can solve 30%, 35% of our cases remotely, since we have IoT in place. And there are different areas to save money in the services area, like service network management, field service management, spare part management, service parts pricing, service parts management, service knowledge management. There are a lot of areas where you can decrease cost and increase the value with IoT. A lot of companies start in the services area, and I show you the way in the journey. It's also a wording from before, how companies typically go later. And this is a survey from Cisco. They asked 7,000 global executives, and they also confirmed and that you can easily save money in areas where the value is the biggest. And a lot of companies focusing today more on the services area instead of selling products or hardware or machines. ABB, for example, their goal is to make 20% of the revenues with services, and that's a long journey for them, believe me. But this is the goal, and why? So they have a better customer relationship, and it's more profitability. So it makes sense. So this is one of the aspects that also somehow discussed before. Who should be part of an IoT vision opportunity project in a company? It should not be only service organization. That's okay to rapidly do some ROI and be successful and save money and have additional earnings. But you should go wider and higher. So different people in a company might have different expectations. Let me take a very simple example. So vending machines. Best Buy, for example. You know, they're standing at the airport, selling Snickers, Coke, headphones. And there might be a service organization. They want to know what products to fill up, even in time, ideally, before they run out. There is a technical team. They want to know whether the door is open, the cooling system is okay, something is broken. And sales and marketing, they want to know what are the best-selling products in which machine, in which location. So put them all together on a table, and if you can, take the decision makers, the champions, as they mentioned before. And then I take this maturity curve we put together some time ago, and I go a little bit deeper in terms of the levels and use and business cases to just mention some examples. Level 1 is unconnected. That's the long, expensive service story. Imagine your old washing machine is broken, no IoT in it. So you call the service organization. If you're lucky, you get someone on the phone. They send you a technician. He's maybe there in a week, finding out what part is broken, going back, getting the part, going back to you, fixing the machine, and so on. So that's firefighting. That's limited or even no product feedback and very expensive service story. Level 2 is connected, and that's the opportunity for me to advertise a little bit more on Microsoft Azure IoT, as we also have a partner network. Microsoft is not too much focusing on hardware for connectivity, but we have a partner network. We have system integrators, solution providers like DunavNet. They're offering some very mature solutions for environmental opportunities, for telematics, for agriculture, and so on. We have some in the space. We have some solution providers, and we have hardware manufacturers to help our customers to connect their thing with the internet. As this is typically the first challenge they face, how to get my thing in the internet. And we also have a partner network to help find the right device. Can be a black box connected with a serial cable, can be a small chip to be integrated in the device, and might have some different capabilities to connect with the internet, like Zigbee, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, cable, cellular, whatever. And we have, of course, the mobile network operators like Tele2 in our partner landscape. So you will find the right technology. So we are, what the guy from Ericsson said before, the environmental solution provider, the complex solution provider with our partners. So once connected, we might have some remote access, still fragmented information, and still reactive response. It's going to be interesting with level 3, serviceable. So we have some remote access, some desktop sharing. You can already fix some problems, some proactive monitoring, service cost reduction or avoidance, and very important for most of our customers, as there is more and more software in the devices, software deployment, software delivery. Imagine you want to upgrade the firmware in your things in Denmark, Serbia, Switzerland, and Manchester, and the operating system is English. you want to upgrade them from version 1.4 to 1.5, but only if processor load is not exceeding 50%, or even based on the configuration of a device. And full control whether the upgrade file is properly executed and uploaded. Level 4 is what I call intelligent. That's predictive maintenance to know which part will break before it breaks. I did some projects with an Austrian water power plant manufacturer, and they have some parts in the power plants, some shafts with the turbines that cost 1.5 million as far as I remember. And they are not on stock, but they have some sensors and they understand the vibration, and if there is happening something, they get a signal and they know this will break in 4 to 6 weeks. Suppliers are allowed to produce and ship on site. So if a power plant has an outage, that's extremely expensive. Monitor, report on services, view and analyze product data. That's also important for most customers to understand this and work on new machine generations for the future in product management. But maybe also, I have customers, they have a lab, they have machines there which are already deployed in the market, and they understand that they can do some settings, install a new software, and can increase performance and speed, for example, of machines which are already in the market. Level 5 is optimized. It's about enterprise system integration. It's more and more important to integrate in BI systems like an ERP, like SAP, can be a CRM system like Dynamics or Salesforce.com, or a ticketing system for the service organization. It's a configuration warranty management. Also important to understand, is my product used as it should be? What do I do with the warranty? If not, contact the customer, tell, hey, it's running always on 120%. Pay-per-use models, billing, we had this, Rolls-Royce Power by the Hour, for example, track and locate. And level 6 is differentiated. This is new revenue generating capabilities. So this is about intelligent combination of data sources and showing it in an intelligent way with some mobile applications, so cloud to mobile mashup, remotely controlled devices, or also somehow important for end customers to get acceptance for things like UBI, to have a mobile app. So not everyone in Central Europe, at least, is excited about his car insurance, knowing where his car is right now, where he was driving yesterday, last week, how he is accelerating, braking, going into curves. So not everyone is liking this, but if you have an advantage, have some maintenance information, can somehow control things from your car, and that's maybe, for the early adopters, that's maybe a reason to accept these technologies. Yeah, that's it more or less from my side. I close with a quote. Jeff Immelt said, "If you went to bed last night as an industrial company, you're going to wake up today as a software and analytics company." And by the way, we have a lot of customers already benefiting from Microsoft Azure IoT Suite. We have a lot of services, we have a partner network, so that's easy to install. There's a free version to try out. I'm here to discuss, and I'm happy to talk to you later today. Or let me know if you have questions now. Thank you.
Questions for Darren?
Sorry.
So, thank you very much for this very interesting presentation.
Thank you.
I'm Kostas Spiropoulos from National Research Center Demokritos, located in Athens. Right, from what is my understanding from your presentation, at the moment, the revenues from IoT is still coming from silos. But the target of single digital market is to break the silos. So, shall we wait till the optimization of what it will appear in the marketplace in order to change the model, the business model for revenue, to get the revenues from IoT? Thank you.
To be honest, can you be more specific on what you mean with the silos in terms of
silos?
Yeah, what do you mean with that?
You mentioned your cooperation with Rolls-Royce.
Yeah.
You have also mentioned a variety of, say, application areas that you are working and you are expecting to get revenues from the market.
Okay.
You see? That's
Yep.
what I mean.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I would say the fact is that every IoT opportunity, every project is very much different. So most important thing, and this is what I wanted to present, so put a mixed team on the table, put decision makers from different divisions in the company on the table to really have all requirements, to understand what they need, and then together define the use and business cases. And if you define the business, every one of them has expectations, and every one of them has expectations as they want to increase revenues or reduce cost. But this is where the money comes from. And if you do this, I would say this is not silos. So this is the fitting IoT strategy for this company. And if you do this properly in a proper way, then you have ways to earn money, and that's not silos, from my understanding. Would you agree? Does this answer your question somehow?
What I'm looking for the ambient intelligence is to have services all over the world and use those services in which application you might need, you see?
Yeah.
That will be the target of using the IoT.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah. Yep, correct. As I mentioned, if you define the use business cases, the requirements of your company or your customer's company maybe, sit together and define the architecture and technology afterwards. Of course, you should begin in parallel somehow, but it doesn't make sense to define an architecture and fix everything on a technical perspective and then put on the business cases. This might not be a fit. But if you go first use the business and define the business and then go defining the technology, find the right applications, so the platform is there. Azure IoT can for sure make it. And there's everything I presented is somehow possible with Azure IoT. Find maybe the right system integrator, also to have some vertical knowledge, maybe some territory knowledge. But we'll help you find the right partners if you need something, and then everything is possible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One more question?
Thank you. Fulvio Sansone, SATA DSL. More than a question is a comment, which is triggered by the very interesting presentation with a lot of elements to discuss and to reflect. When it comes to connectivity in general, I see that there is a general trend to a kind of cellular-centric thinking, which from my position, it's somehow understandable, because of course these devices, everybody has one of these things in his pocket and we use it every day. Yeah. But just for information to everybody, at the moment the largest market for IoT, which is already coming to fruition, is so-called machine-to-machine, and this market is served in a big chunk by satellite communications. At the moment, the satellite communication field in machine-to-machine represents 2.5 million devices only, but 2.6 billion euros turnover, yearly turnover. So, of course, the cellular will play a major role in the future, but we have not to forget other communication systems. And this was particularly triggered by the very interesting example that you brought on the screen, which is the airplane, the aircraft. So once you have equipped an engine of an aircraft with sensors, intelligence, and applications which are capable of planning, remote maintenance, and all this stuff, it becomes completely crazy that the situation of nowadays, when if there is a crash, you have to go in the bottom of the ocean to look for a black box and hopefully find it and hopefully find the reason of the crash, while you can have satellite communication, which can allow you to follow the trip all over the duration of the trip and to transfer in real time all the data which is useful for the remote maintenance, but also to see what is the reason of a possible crash or to anticipate a problem that you could have in the field. And the same applies for another slide that I saw where you were showing, how do you call it, big tractors, machines that, those guys, for example, I can tell you that Caterpillar, the other Komatsu, the Japanese, they use Orbcom, mobile satellite communication. So this is, of course, is a very specific point of view, but just to tell you that in general, we should be more open in terms of connectivity solution in order to realize the Internet of Things. There is no one size fits all solution, 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G, 7G, it will be 20G maybe one day, but there are several solutions which will contribute as an ecosystem to the connectivity which is needed in order to implement these applications.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I fully agree. Thank you for this comment. Very useful. Also, I had opportunities where they had some metering stations in the desert. So there are areas where it absolutely makes sense, and I didn't want to exclude this. Thanks for the comment. Great.
Okay, I think on that note, is it a quick question? A short one, a really short one. Let me tell you, I missed opportunity during the panel. I was hoping to do it here, but one quick one.
Okay, thank you. My name is Tomo Popovic. I'm coming from University of Montenegro. Great presentation, a great panel, by the way. So your presentation kind of reinforced me to comment and maybe ask for comment back from panelists that I wanted to do during the panel, but I was late. A lot of your slides and a lot of the slides that we see in the Internet of Things world are showing these exponential curves. Mm-hmm. And what we are, witnessing here is IoT is just continuation of an exponential explosion coming with the ICT revolution and industrial revolution that happened in 19th century. But that curve is becoming more steeper now. Mm-hmm. And what we are dealing here with is that we are used to work and think and live in linear terms. Everything can be planned and is happening linearly, as opposed that now we are facing the technology that's scaling and developing exponentially. So what we have today in these IoT sensor nodes in 10 years will be 1,000 times more complicated and complex. And we simply, our mind cannot follow what's happening. It already happened. I mean, 10 years ago, the flash, modules had 1,000 times less memory. The processors were 1,000 times, simpler. So we have to switch to this mode of thinking exponentially as we deal with these new technologies. Oh, yeah. And the reason why I'm, discussing this, and I wanted maybe to see your comment, and maybe I'm welcoming panelists from before, is we talk about standardization, we talk about IP management or patents, we talk about interoperability and standard harmonization. All of these processes are linear and take time. To do a patent, you need 5 years. To do a standard, sometimes you need almost 10 years once you kind of get everybody agree on it. By the time you have these things in place, they are obsolete in this world that we are looking at. So I think we have to have something in place that allows for constant flow and influx of new technology. And it has to be like, almost like when you think about people looking at an empty field that they want to have a wood down there. So they have to put some hybrid trees, fast-growing trees there, like a poplar or something like that. That will, in 3 years give you a wood, but it's going to die, 5 years down the road, so you have to have some slow-growing trees that are coming, So we have to change the paradigm of how we're thinking and how we are introducing this technology. So that was my comment. Any questions?
Great comment. Thank you. Yeah, I fully agree. So this is not a question. This would be a complex question if I would answer every aspect. But I take it as a comment. Thank you. And I fully agree. So this is a change of thinking and a change management also. Yeah, right. Thank you.
On that note, the changed mindset. Coffee's being served outside, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have time only for espresso, Italian style, no cappuccino, just espresso, quickly.